Hi, and welcome back to my channel. And so, as far as my archery videos slash tutorials, this is a mostly experimental because I haven't quite got the hang of this one yet. And so, and same goes with the target. So, yeah, I got a new target to see how durable it is and how well I can shoot at it. And so, aim small, miss small. That's a big thing. But with the type of draw that I'm going to be doing today, I need to be closer to it because of the size of the target, especially based on how practice went yesterday when I was doing this as well, to kind of figure out how I was going to do this video. For example, I have 3 of my aluminum alloy arrows in my quiver because they are the more expendable ones, so it doesn't really matter if they get lost. But basically the gist of it is using a 3-finger Mediterranean grip on the right side of a horse bow, recurve bow, and shooting it that way, drawing all the way back to the ear, and being able to shoot it that way reliably and consistently. The kind of thing that coaches or the so-called experts will say that you can't do. That the arrow will fall off every time. And see, my target results right there. I got 1 in the red, 1 in the bullseye, and 1 on the line right between the bullseye and the red. Now, yes, this is very short distance for experimentation, and my shots didn't just automatically fall off my thumb, because otherwise it would have just landed right at my feet by the time I let go of the string before having time to notice. So if you're trying it on this side for the first time and you start feeling a little wobbly, sure, just turn your wrist, not your arm, your shoulder, just your wrist. That's all. And can just hold your thumb out as a perch. And so, of course, the ones who say that the draw doesn't work on the right side or something will be saying, like, yeah, you can do it, but there's stuff that you need to counteract. But there's a bunch of stuff you need to do for the left as well, in case you didn't notice. So you put it on the left, just like threading a needle, slide it right over. But look what else you have to do to keep it from falling off. You got your 4-finger over the arrow shaft when you draw, and at a slight tilt, because a lot of the times when you draw it back, okay, not this time, but a lot, the string does just let the arrow slide off the knuckle. When you think about those little factors, here's the other thing too, is that when you've got, see right there, the arrow nearly fell off twice, and it'll be, a lot of times it's the direction that the string is kind of twisting in, because it'll twist in a certain way depending on how your fingers are when you draw back. And so instinctively you end up fiddling with it just a little. You probably don't even notice that you're doing it. And I didn't until I started doing this and started adjusting myself, and then started comparing the left and right. So yeah, you do end up kind of twisting the string this way to keep the arrow here. And so, that being said, if you use 3 fingers and have the arrow on this side, when you draw back, a good thing to do is have a deep hook and give the string a slight leftward torque twist. And especially with heavier bows, I mean, you should do this with heavier bows anyway. You should have a really deep hook. Use your middle digits. That's why I wear my tabs here instead of at the last digits here, which I'm pretty sure they're meant for. If anybody recognizes these kind of tabs, if you go on Amazon or anywhere else and you get these types of finger tabs and you wear them on your last 2 digits, I wear them this way because they're more secure. They're not sliding around so much. They can't slide off my fingers. And I mean, yeah, look at the lacing. You cinch them up, make them really tight. So you cinch them up, and so I have them down here, especially for using heavier bows like my 40-pound. I'm not using my 40-pound Mongolian. I'm using my 30-pound Hungarian for this because this is experimental and tutorial. So when I'm trying something that I'm not quite the best with, and especially with this new target that I haven't quite gotten the hang of using yet, I'm just using this one. And especially since I tend to go on for quite a while with these videos and I don't want to wear myself out too soon. Okay, so just like with the way Saracen Archery says to put it on using the thumb draw or whichever, and the arrow shaft between the thumb and forefinger, and actually between these two, that's even better, even straighter. Just slide it right on, and then right back, and then you got your hook right there. And you got your thumb up, and even with thumb draw, where the arrow's fixed, or Slavic, you typically can still have the thumb up. A lot of times, you don't really need the thumb up, but if you're trying this out and it's kind of new, it's good to kind of have it this way till you get used to the way that the bow reacts to it. And plus, when you've got the first 2 fingers here like this holding onto the arrow before you nock it, that way you can slide it into place and do whatever kind of adjustments you have to do with your draw hand, whether it's the thumb draw, Slavic, or this, whichever that you need to kind of do something fancy feeling with your fingers. You've got a solid foundation and can, yep, just right there, just grab it and then slide it straight into place. Where it's just one movement forward and one movement back. Now let's see the results. Okay, so these two, not the best. I think when I shot them, I recognized my mistake. I can't remember now, but I did recognize whatever it was I did. But yeah, these guys, all in the bullseye right here. And yes, like I said, this short distance, but, you know, think about what the Japanese do when they're training for Kyudo. They only shoot from 2 meters away, shooting at a hay bale with the thumb draw using a Yumi. So, that's just one thing to keep in mind when trying some different methods. You know, short is good. You know, don't be in such a hurry to go for longer distance because you need to actually get comfortable with the short distance. Because otherwise your shots aren't gonna turn out all that good when you move back. But I'm gonna take those 2 arrows out and I'm gonna move back just a couple more yards. Not that far, just a couple more yards. So if you're able to see, one thing that is good is if you're able to stare straight down the arrow that you just shot. If you've got a bullseye and you're able to look straight down the arrow shaft at the bullseye, it means you're doing good. It means that you're shooting straight. So if you can do that, then that means you're doing a good job. And so yes, my repositioning is not exact, of course. Hit the top, but it's at the middle, you know, so it didn't just veer off to the right or anything like that. It didn't fall off my thumb. Landed in the same place. Did you hear that clack? Okay, so this has happened before. I remember quite a while back doing this, and it was just this one afternoon. I don't have it on video, of course, but it was in this one afternoon when I was using one of my target bags, and in that one afternoon, I was using this grip, right side, and 3 different times I ended up getting 3 arrows touching. And my jaw just hit the floor. Like, oh my god. Like, fun times, you know, it's a sign of progress. Disclaimer being, no, I did not mean for those 2 arrows to be up there at the top, past the white. However, the fact that they are in the same place is a consistency thing. So, that's a thing to work on, consistency. I left one in. When I get a good bullseye, I tend to leave that one in. So, I think what I'm going to do is readjust my position too. There. So now, I'm looking straight down at the target, and that arrow is off to the side, so I don't have to worry about hitting straight down. That was not supposed to happen. This arrow, it deflected right off the top, and it went into the branches of that tree. Okay? And then it landed at the base of the sand mound. There. It just skirted right off. Okay, let's try this again. It hit the top of the target. And it hit the crossbar of the target. Okay. Gotta make sure that this thing is straightened out. I think the problem there was it was kind of diagonal, like this. Well, not quite like this, but sort of. Just a few centimeters. Okay. Keep going. Slide another one on. Closer. That time I've got the bow tilted just a little ways to the left for Just a little more purchase. Woo! Okay, that one shot straighter. That time I reached a full draw. Because you want to go for a long draw when doing this, especially with a lighter weight bow, because you want to make sure that you've got enough force to carry the arrow a longer distance when you're using a bow like this and want better results. You should be able to pull it back to full draw. And in this case, this particular bow's full draw is about 32 inches. So for me, that's all the way to the jawbone, to the ear. And when shooting on the right, especially being able to tilt it and such, it's even more engaging, easier on the back muscles. It's not as straining on the neck either. Because when you sight down the arrow, not all the time, but a lot, it's kind of a strain on the neck because you're bringing your head down a bit to be able to sight down, even when it's in your peripheral vision, you're still doing that to get it right. And so, and especially when you have it tilted like this, to be able to see where you're aiming at. See, I can feel it right there. And so, when you've got it on the right, you can bring it all the way back like this. And you have the wrist tilted slightly this way. And you've got the arrow pointed that way. You've got a little more room. You've got more space. So, yeah, the arrow's not fixed in place like it is when you use the Slavic draw or the thumb, but it does work. It's quite easy. It doesn't even make that much of a difference where the arrow lands, because it all depends on how the bow reacts when you let go of the string. Just keep a nice, relaxed, natural grip. Let the bow just rest in your hand, and when you let go, in fact, before you let go even, just on the draw and on the release, just let the bow do what it has to. So yes, when you take the shot, when you let go of the string, don't do anything. And a lot of times when using the right side, the bow will just do a type of katra or shift on its own. See, that's why I don't do this kind of thing. I just keep it in a relaxed grip so that way the bow just does it for me. Now this is something I haven't been trying actively yet, but I've done it just a few times. You can, when you're shooting Mediterranean this way, you can hold extra arrows between your fingers this way as well. So let's give that a shot just to see how it goes. Okay? So I'm holding the other one down with my thumb. Pretty good. That first one went in the red. And the string got stuck in my arm guard. It didn't hurt, Alright, gonna grab those. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on going with that. But yes, at least now you can see over and over that this draw is easy. You can do it. Arrow left, arrow right, makes no difference. There's always these little things with your bow hand and your draw hand, whichever way you do it. So your sighting picture is just a little bit different on either side. And so you just have to adjust it just a little, and that's it. Okay, so I'm going to keep on practicing. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you found this helpful and a little informative. I guess I'll see you next time.